Hey y'all, Fred here. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today we are going to look at my most carried and used knives in the first month of 2025. It's hard to believe we're already at the end of January 2025. It feels like this month has been crazy fast in some ways and slow in others. You've got all the political stuff going on in the news, and the world seems to be a mad dash of new beginnings and rapid changes of all kinds of stuff. Was only a month or so ago, I was doing my best knives of the year video. And so I thought, I'll do a little update. There were some that didn't quite make it into the best knives of the year. I think most of these, maybe only one of these was with me at the end of the year for best knives of the year. I can't recall. But anyhow, these are the knives that I have given the most attention to. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Maybe for slightly different reasons, I guess. So let's just tackle them one by one. If you know me and you've seen my videos, then you probably will already recognize that there's really only one, quote, real knife on this table that is actually not a replica version of a knife. But these are in no particular order. I will let you know which ones I'm giving the most love to right now. I'll start. Go ahead. On this side of the table, let's move these other guys off so we can give this one a little bit of attention. So I got this at the end of 2024. I had originally gotten the, now I'm going to draw a blank. What is the other really popular CRK knife? The 𝗏𝗏𝘁. And the 𝗏𝗏𝘁 I got came on double row ceramic bearing washers. And that thing is a beautiful, smooth drop shut. And it just shocked me at how much I love the ergonomics. I love the fidgetiness of it. And that still absolutely is one of my favorite knives and one that I love to use even to this day. But because I continually keep getting new knives that I'm looking at and reviewing and carrying and testing, it's hard to have like just one daily user. So this one kind of slipped in at the end of the year and didn't get a whole lot of love out of me or a whole lot of attention other than I did a nice review. You can certainly go see the review on my channel. This is a replica knife. This is not a real S35VN. I think this is like a 9CR14 MOV, which I know is a little strange, but that appears to be, from my research, what they're putting into these knives. It is what it is. I can actually live with that. I had an 8CR13 in my blade testing. Of course, that was a real Spyderco, the Tenacious, that beat the pants off of just about every other steel that I've tested so far. And I've tested some decent ones, including D2, which is supposed to hold an edge a lot better. Anyhow, I love the hollow grind on this blade. It is a nice sharp, came sharp out of the box. I love the dual thumb studs, which they don't have on a lot of CRK knives. This is a nice laser sharp knife. One of the reasons I love it, I always love a sheep's foot blade. You guys know I'm a big fan of that. This one riding on washers. I did a video also where I replaced these washers with some better, higher quality washers that are wider, the spoked style washers. Anyhow, you can go look at that. So it is finally broken into the point it won't drop shut by any stretch of the imagination, but I can easily flip it out without too much effort, despite those pointy little thumb studs. So it has definitely got a good flipping action. It feels very solid in the hand. I like the double choil setup that they have here. Obviously, no forward choil. You could use this as a trigger, but you're working dangerous territory there. At any rate, it's a big, nice, what I'm going to call more or less a full-sized knife that fits comfortably in the hand. It feels solid. I feel like I could do a good heavy day of work. Nice centered blade. So from time to time when I want a bit of a heavier knife that I want to carry with me, I'm also interested in this lanyard. I never liked lanyards. These come with these knives, and I thought I'm going to try it just to see what the hubbub is about. I will tell you, you do get used to, I did replace the pocket clip as well. That's it's a little iffy right now. We'll see when we get to the cut testing. But I do find myself with this lanyard poking out of my pocket when this is riding, mostly deep carry in my pocket, that it is easy to grab a hold of that lanyard to pull the knife out of your pocket. So, man, they might be onto something with that lanyard thing. And I've always been a guy who beats up people on the lanyards. All right, next one in line is a brand new one that just came in, the Vosteed Porcupine. This has this top liner lock, the compression style button lock on the top. Everybody is all head over heels with that. This one has a lot of similarities with the other knife that's here on my list, the Rosie. I have mentioned this in a couple of videos now, but if you compare just kind of the squared off handles, the double finger choils there, the roughly equivalent size and shape blades, These two knives have a lot of similarities, and this one, we'll get to that in a minute, is incredibly popular for a reason. It's extremely ergonomic, which makes the porcupine very ergonomic as well. But the porcupine has not only jimping back here, but it also has it up here. So talk about that that draw cut right there. That grip right there is solid all day long, and you've got the jimping on forward. So just a lot of things to like. These are micarta scales, very nicely done. I love the colorway on this one with the double-sided blue and the matching barrel spacer for lanyards. Really nicely done. I'm actually a fan of the paperclip style pocket clips. This one works great. It's short. It's easy in and out of the pocket. Certainly won't tear up your pockets. 14C 28N blade. It is fidgety all day long. You can just literally sit here and flip this thing, and I do that quite a bit at my desk, which is why this has made it into my top 5 knives, even though it's just recent. I've been carrying it enough now to be like, wow, I love this knife. I love fidgeting with that knife, and I love the look and feel of it. So very good on that. I'm going to switch up now and go to this one, because this one made it in my most attention knives for a whole different reason. Because if y'all have watched any of my videos, and I know a lot of y'all have, I've had so much problem with this thing. From the time you first got it, I had to cut away. You have to cut away the lock bar access there. That doesn't come cut out at all. There was washers inside that didn't make any sense on this knife. It bounced out tremendously. What I have discovered is I have to just tighten that pivot so much that it won't really drop free very well. But if I do that, it doesn't bounce out. And the detent, like I just threw that real hard. But now that I've figured out how to do it, I can get it to close without bouncing just about every time. Just about, I say. It's hard to do when you're doing this, when you're looking through your camera, right? But it has become more comfortable. But the real difference was putting the edge on this knife. So I've just done a video on sharpening this knife up. This is an M390 steel. It does feel like it might actually be an M390, although this one doesn't feel as hard as the M390 on the longer OK81, which is the paramilitary 2. But I will tell you, now that I have put a new edge, an 18-degree edge on this thing, this is an absolute laser beam. And so this has brought new interest back to this knife for me. I have been trying to love the Para 3 format for so long now. I just haven't been able to get one that works well for me, that I like. I love the contoured carbon fiber scales. I love the carbon fiber clip. Again, got a whole review on this knife and got several videos because I've had to try to fix this thing up and make it work. And I'm telling you, I have just about got it dialed in. And now with that 18-degree edge on this steel, that makes this thing a whole lot more interesting to me than it was before. So this one is starting to get a little more pocket time with that new edge on it. All right, we'll save the Fosi for last. I also did a review on the McNees. I've done a review on all these knives. This is a 3.5 inch. This is a replica knife. This is the knife that sits on my bedside, and probably too much information here. When I go to bed, I tend to go to bed before my wife comes to bed, and so I'll lay in bed and watch some knife videos. And as I do, I lay there flipping a knife, whatever my flavor of the day is. And I can tell you, this one is constantly at my bedside, and when I'm just don't want to think about what knife to put in my pocket to run out and do some errands, this is almost 100% of the time the one I'm carrying. The action on this is incredible on these bearings. It's just hydraulic drop shut. It's smooth. It's not totally guillotine. It's more of a hydraulic-y feel. It's easy to manipulate. The blade doesn't bounce. Again, I did this in the review. No matter how hard you close that blade, it's like it's hitting a rubber stopper. It just absorbs it and kills that blade dead closed in the closed position. I don't know how they do it. I don't have any other knives that I've ever owned that do it that way. But I'll also tell you, here's an interesting comparison. So how about knife number 1 we talked about and knife number 2? You would think that this being a much larger handled knife would have a much larger blade, right? Obviously, that's not the case. So let's look at the overall height difference of just the scales, okay? So I have paralleled these up at the bottom. Look at the difference in height. You would think, well, that means this is going to have a much longer blade, right? Nope. Not true at all. Look at the blade differences. The easiest way to do it is to line up the heel of the blades together and then bring those tops together. Look at how much more blade you get for a much smaller handle size in this. It's a relatively thicker stock, so I also feel like I could do some heavy-duty work with this knife, and yet this is the factory edge on it. I have not touched it. This is also a beautiful laser beam for being as thick of a knife as it is. but that drop shut action, it just keeps me coming back every time. That's hard to pass up. Finally, I just got these in about a week or so ago. I have been carrying, I say these because we have two of them. These are very different knives. I did a complete review comparing and contrasting both of these. The quality between these is extremely different. The action on the skeleton knives is beautiful and smooth and quiet. The difference is the sound is not there. That's a very quiet knife, whereas you get the nice thwack sound on the solid titanium scales of this knife. However, the action is much grittier on this knife. So let's, I did this on the video. It's just grittier. You can hear it rubbing. Those are not the bearings because I have swapped the bearings between these and it still makes that sound. So it's got to be something to do with the double detent balls, which these knives have. These are supposedly a 154 cm blade. And just because this version, the skeletonized version, is kind of cooler looking, I don't know, I'm so torn between those two. I love that solid radial milled pattern as well, but this is so unique and different. I don't have anything like it. Ultra light, like 2.6 ounces. Titanium scale, supposed to be a 154 cm blade. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know it came sharp as all get out right out of the box. So they did an excellent job with the grind. Both of these came just razor sharp out of the box. So this is because it's really so new. I'm really enjoying carrying this, and also both of these sit on my bedside table right now. So I'm like left-handed with the Fosi and right-handed with the McNees, and I'll just sit there and flip knives all night long while I watch videos right-handed and left-handed. So there you go. Those are my top 5 knives for slightly different reasons for the month of January. We'll see what the month of February brings. Otherwise, I appreciate y'all sticking with me and hanging out. I love all the comments. I love interacting with you guys. If you're not a subscriber yet, please do so. That not only helps my channel out a lot, that helps YouTube show us to more people and get a little more exposure, but I love chatting with you guys. Building some relationships, you know, finding out what knives y'all like. And y'all are helping me a lot with, you should try this, or you should do that, or, you know, when you sharpen it, do this, or here's a trick for fixing the stupid bearings on some of your knives. So I really enjoy that. Thanks y'all so much. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what's going on in your world. What are your favorite knives that you're carrying right now? I'd love to see what you guys got in your pockets. What do you fidget with every night? Again, thanks so much. Throw your boy a thumbs up if I did okay. Thumbs down. Let me know what you like different. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Take care.